All right. I'm in here a little early because I want to try to figure this out. I'll try one thing while y'all are coming in. I'm going to try to give it at least 10 minutes for everybody to come in. Should I? Let me see if I can do it like this. Sorry. Trying to make sure we get it all together. Mm-mm-mm. It's gonna be a lot of stuff today. Where is my sandalwood? Let's do this one. Got it. As y'all are coming in, let me know because, like I said before, hmm, where do we go? Hmm, I'm trying to figure this out, y'all. Bear with me. I'm trying to figure out something. So I'm gonna give it about maybe 5 minutes, maybe 10, um, to make sure that everybody get in and get signed in well. Um, y'all let me know if you are able to chat or if you see how to chat. For whatever reason, I am not. And this might be because I'm logged in. So I wonder. I don't know. I'm gonna figure that out. I know we have a few people that have signed up and y'all are on. So I don't know how I'm gonna figure how to see y'all comments. That's gonna be interesting. It was working yesterday. So I need to put this down somewhere. Anyway, welcome to Candle Magic 101. Yay! Um, I've been super excited to do this particular class and some of the other classes that I do have set up. Just for the simple fact that we have a lot of content that kind of intertwines and intertangles and connects when we get into like essential oils, when we get into the other dynamics as far as um, the dealing with the magical aspect of being a goddess or a god, whichever one it is that you are claiming. Okay. I am still dealing with a little bit of an interesting throat. So I am going to be drinking lots of water during this process, um, trying to make sure that, why is this just now sending? Oh, um, that my body is getting the healing that it needs at this moment in time. Um, It's going to be interesting because we got all of these different platforms acting crazy the week that I launch my class. Hmm. So, all right, I'm not going to worry about this. I'm trying to figure out how to get this, but maybe it's a good thing. All right, so I've got plenty of notes to try to keep me on task and on track. Maybe it's a good thing that I can't see the comments, so it won't make me distracted as I go through all of this. So, the best thing that I love about candle magic is knowing that fire is the element that we are working with. With me being a Leo, with me being um the person that I am, I love the element of fire. I've always been drawn to candles. I've always been drawn to water. So that's always been one of my favorite elements to work with. When we get into the fire and how it is associated with all the different magical functions, we're talking about illumination, we're talking about elimination, and transformation. So when you say illumination, we're talking about shedding light on something, shedding light on a particular dynamic. When we're talking about elimination, we're talking about banishment or releasing or removing a certain dynamic. And then when we're talking about transformation, that is more of, like I said, transformation. You're trying to bring something from the metaphysical world, the spiritual world, the ethereal world into the physical world. So, how are we transmuting? How are we transforming what it is that we want to see come into fruition? Fire connects the unseen forces that make even the element of fire. So it brings elements that we cannot see with the physical eye and brings it into formation. It brings it into existence. So, there's a mystery that was connected over centuries and years when it comes to our ancestors about the element of fire and how to produce it. But they figured it out. And it was just always amazing and mysterious for them to come up with this element of fire, but it's one of the main elements when it comes into us doing the work that we do. So when you're using it for work such as transformative magic, we can use it for work as like honoring deities. You can use it for honoring the elements, and that could be, just the four elements, which is sometimes debatable because everybody feel like the four elements is earth, air, fire, and water. But it also could be more than the four elements: earth, air, fire, water, and spirit, or the ethers, whichever one you look at. Okay. So candles are probably the most widely used tool. This is the number one. This is definitely one of my go-tos. I love candle magic. I love being able to use it to set my intention, set my energy, what it is that I need to set forth as we're moving into certain dynamics and I'm doing certain types of work. Um, the element of fire, it can be used for things like I said, instigating banishment. Let me see if I got my little candles up here. I'm gonna put it in the box. Oh, I did. Um, so when you are getting into the candle magic aspect, and when I say instigating, that means, triggering something, giving it a little push, giving it a little urge is what we're talking about. Giving things a little urge that might not be coming into fruition the way that we want to come into fruition. Giving things a little push when they seem to be moving slower than we would like for them to be moving. Um, Making things get a little assistance when it's time for it to need, that extra push, a little nudge from the universe, or confirmation, even us speaking it into existence, like this is what we need to happen. So I highly suggest, outside of certain information that I'm going to give you, that you take the time to really, really study the element of fire, understand the element of candles, understand your essential oils, understand even your herbs and how they correspond to what it is that you are doing. And the reason I'm saying this is because it's going to show you how everything works hand in hand. It's going to show you how all the different dynamics are going to come together in a sense. The other thing that I like about when we talk about this particular dynamic, when we're getting into how to use this candle magic and how to use essential oils and how to use our herbs, um, it helps you simplify. So, like, I might have a whole book, and I have, like, here's one that's on specifically on essential oils and how they correlate. Um, and I've talked about this in our actual Goddess Awakening class, but I might have, I'm trying to find a little chart, a whole book about all the essential oils and the herbs and what their healing properties are. And it might be over, okay, and this book is a lot. So it might be over, let's just say it's over 50. A lot of them are very similar. A lot of them coincide. So you have to figure out what coincides and what resonates for you. What is something that triggers for you? What is something that you use? Like, y'all know, y'all hear me say it all the time. And for those that don't, I use cinnamon and say it all the time. And for those that don't, I use cinnamon in everything, literally. So cinnamon is like, I use it as a wand. Cinnamon is my go-to herb. Why? Because it corresponds and resonates with me. It not only resonates with me, but it resonates with the Orisha that I pay. It not only resonates with me, but it resonates with the Orisha that I pay homage to mainly. Um, it is connected to like the planet that is more in charge of most of my houses. It is connected on so many different levels. Connected on so many different levels. So I'm a cinnamon fanatic. Let's just say that it's connected to my sign, um, and it's connected to fire. So the element is fire, the planet is sun, the zodiac is Leo and Aries, and the deities is Venus. Or who else would that be? Oshun. So it even Mercury, all kind of, it got a whole lot of other stuff that you can get into if you start learning um about essential oils and how they to use them specifically for magic. And they're the same as far as the herbs as well. They all are one and the same. When you learn the color theory and the color chart for one thing, you pretty much can use that color chart for everything. When you learn the herb chart for, you know, healing, most of the time that healing aspect is corresponding to the actual like the magical aspect. And then you can use those, they correspond, they're one and the same, literally. Okay. um so you just have to learn how to use it, how to build on that. So trying to make sure I don't get too far off track with that. I just highly suggest that you take a lot of time as far as getting into that. And I'm going to go over some stuff, and I'm definitely going to post some stuff in this particular group chat. So you'll have a list of like, what are my go to herbs? What are my go to oils outside of cinnamon? And what are my go to colors? But I also will list, you know, the meaning for all the other color charts, just so y'all can have them and you can refer to them later on when y'all catch this back on the replay, or you want to just go back and refresh your memory throughout this process. Okay. Um, so going back to like whether you're using candle magic to do, or the element of fire to instigate transformative magic, which is making something from the spiritual realm come into the real world into reality, or you're just using that element to set the ambiance. And just that alone, like using candles to burn as far as on your altar or burn in your ritual space or your sacred space, that by itself raises the vibration and it shifts the energy within that space that you are creating or you're setting your intention. So it's very important that even if you're not doing candle magic and you're doing any other sort of magical dynamic, you should always have some candles burning. My number, it happens to be three. I do believe very strongly in burning three candles. I always have. If there's a number that corresponds or resonates with you, then you probably should burn that particular number of candles. Um, what it has to be significant. How is it signature? How does it correspond to who you are and what it is that you're trying to do? Okay, so if you're burning it to honor a god or a goddess, then the colors should correspond to that god or goddess. So, like if we were honoring Oshun, we know that we would burn a yellow candle or a gold candle. In general, most of the time, if you want to honor the divine feminine and the divine masculine or god and goddess energy, you burn a gold or a silver candle, or a white candle is neutral. Y'all know my candles. If you don't, let me state it on here. Most of the time, I'm only using white candles, black candles, silver candles, and gold candles. Those are the only candles that I ever use. They are very uh, good for what I do. I am definitely feeling like if you are starting out, let me say that if you are a newbie to candle magic and you are starting out on this journey, it is good for you to use color candles that correspond to what it is that you want to manifest. So knowing those colors, they trigger certain senses. That's why you get into feng shui. That's why you get into color theory, color therapy. All of it signals and it signifies a certain vibration, and it triggers a certain energy through your brain waves. So you connect to that particular color. But as you get more advanced and more official, I guess I would say, on your journey, you're going to get to a point where you'll know, like, okay, I'm setting the intention for this particular white candle or black candle to be over protection or to be over releasing negative energy or to be for abundance or love or prosperity, whatever it is. You will know that you are setting the intentions in this particular candle to do exactly what it is that you're asking for it to do. So you don't need the color significance because it's about the power, your intention, and the energy that you put yourself as you being the tool into that particular dynamic. Okay. Um, so I talked about the god and the goddesses, that gold representing God and the silver representing goddess, or you can use a white candle and that'll represent either one, the divine feminine or divine masculine. In certain systems, they do believe in burning three candles. And I'm gonna use my tea lights for this. The three candles might be the first candle being the maiden, the second candle being the mother, and the third candle being the crone. Okay. So when you are burning those three particular candles and they are in that particular dynamic, then it is about, you can do certain colors. You can do white, red, and black, or you can do like I do, three white candles. It's also representative of the Trinity. I don't necessarily do it for the goddess aspect as far as the maiden, mother, and the crone, but I do it in the aspect of, hey, this is the mind, the body, and the soul, or spirit, whichever one you want to represent for that. Okay. So I'm gonna put that back so I don't lose that. Um, Candles can be used to represent the direction. So north, south, east, west, all of that. So it could be the candles. If we have four candles up here, I do have four. We could set it up on your altar or your sacred space as north, east, south, and west. That could be representative of that. It could be representative, like I said, of the elements, whatever it is that you want it to, but it's your power, your intention. What are you setting to be in that particular candles? Marking on your sacred space. And when we just talked about that a while ago, you can even, I always have on my altar certain candles that I burn just to be an acknowledgement of, this is my sacred space. This is what I'm setting up. This is, you know, the 3 candles that I burn no matter what. And those are like my sacred space or protection candles is what I like to call them. Okay. Those protection candles and those sacred space candles can be used every time that you sit down to do any sacred work, or you do any type of ritual work, or any type of work that is involving that particular candle magic, or like I say, any type of thing that is going to involve your sacred area, your sacred space. um what else? Oh, so where's my candle? I don't have a new candle, but let's just use this one as. So when you are having a candle, let's say you say, okay, I can't do 4 candles. Um, can I just use 1 candle? Yes, you can. So you would take this candle and understand that this candle represents all 4 elements. What is the 4 elements? The base of the candle is the earth. The wick of the candle, excuse me, the wick of the candle is also the earth because it's grounding. The base of the candle represents grounding of the candle. The wick is grounded all the way to the center of the candle. Um, the other element is when it is burning and the flame is lit. Okay. So when it's burning, the wax is burning, that represents water because it's shape shifting, just like water. It is starting to liquefy and it's going to move and it turns into different solid liquids, gas. It changes what it's doing. That represents the flow of water, the fluidity of water. The smoke is coming from the wick as it's burning. The wick invokes the element of air. Okay. And then the flame that's actually on the wick is fire. Of course. Simple, right? Other thing before I forget, when you are picking out your 7-day candles, um, make sure that this is in the center, as center as possible. If it is not in the center, put that candle back on the shelf. Why? Because that candle is not going to be good for you doing your long 7-day, 2-day, whatever, however long it take for you to burn this particular candle. It's not going to be good for that type of work. Why? Because it's going to, I mean, your wick is not centered, and it's going to mess up the effect of how your candle burns. So since we're talking about that, let's go ahead and get into the different types of candles that you can use. Real quick, I'm going to just run through it and then I'll tell you the difference. So you have, we'll start with the smallest one. You have your spell candles, and I offer these on the website. They come like 6 in the box. That means that you only need 1 candle. I normally tell you to burn in threes. That is just how I work. I do feel like you can spread your intention. You don't want to put too much intention or too much focus, or I always look for one to be the main intention of the candle, and the other candle to be support candles. Okay, so as these candles are the main candles and the other ones are support candles, then their intention or focus is different. Their intention and focus is going to be something different. Their purpose. So you might have this as, I want to bring in love, and then the other one might be self-love, and then the other one might be whatever would protect or correspond with that particular energy. Okay, y'all give me 2 seconds because somebody keep calling my phone. Okay, so I suggest using 3 candles. If you do not want to use 3 candles and you just want to use one for whatever reason, that's fine. Just make sure that you're not smothering your intentions in that particular candles. You don't want to overwork your candle. You don't want to over intensify the energy that you're putting in this candle because it will not work, or it will create a certain dynamic. So, trying to make sure. All right. So, um, the other candle is the tea lights. They're really simple. They're very small. Um, oh, I knew it was something I was missing. The votives, but tea lights. Um, these I love doing. They're very easy for you to just get a group of them. I normally buy them in bulk. I'll set them in a bowl. I normally go ahead and prep my candles early so they can already be ready. They can already be done. Um, I've already pre-charged them. They already are ready for what it is that I'm getting ready to get into and what I need to happen in that particular dynamic. Okay. So the tea lights. The other one that I use is votives. And votives are, I don't have one. I don't know why I didn't bring one, but it's about double the size. Y'all have seen them. Sometimes they come in glass, sometimes they're just regular. It just is up to you. 9 times out of 10, they don't have any type of casing or covering to them. And if they don't, that means they're going to be really, really messy. So you have to be very mindful of that. The other one that I love to use is this one. And what I love about these pillar candles, um, is the fact that they are easy to dress. And I don't know, I feel like between what are my two favorites are this and this. These are my two favorites. So I love using my 7-day candle and I love using um, the pillar candles. So, and I love because this one because I can dress it and I put more intentions probably in this particular candle. Okay. Um, Then final, last but not least, but we kind of already did this, the 7-day candles, the votive. They come in glass. They're normally going to last longer. You only do these if you know that you have the patience and the time to work with this particular candle. I love this candle because it lets me know how my intention setting is going, my energy that I've put into this particular candle, my sigils, whatever work that I've grounded and put placed in this candle that is working. But the biggest part about this particular candle that I really, really love is the combination and what it is that I need to do for this particular um, candle. So I can either write marker with it on there, or I can actually um, set my markings on the inside. Okay. So it's just up to you on what it is that you need to do. Um, so now the other thing that I am looking at what candles. So I get asked all of the time, what candles are the best one? If you don't have time, these are my favorite. If you don't have time to wait for it to burn all the way through, if you don't have time to really sit there and go through all the different dynamics, um, your schedule is a little rush. Maybe you are in an area that won't allow you to necessarily get into doing this particular work from this perspective, letting them burn. This is a quick candle to use. It's not going to take that long. It's probably like maybe an hour or so, and it'll burn and you can look at the wax. That's another part. I do have a picture of how y'all can tell where the wax is falling and knowing how that's corresponding to your reading so you can read the wax as well. The other thing that you should also be paying attention to is how is this candle burning? That's why I like using this one so I can see, did it burn all the way through? Did it leave a clean burn? Was it black at the top? Is it having complications? Is it, going through issues? What is it doing that is going to block this particular candle? Or did it burn clean and pretty and I ain't got no issues? Okay. Um, Normally my candles like this burn. I done mastered this to science. So they maybe 2 days, maybe two, maybe three if it's or four if it's like some real serious work that we got to work through. Um, and I'll get into how to dress each one if you're going to dress them. Okay. Um, So let's get into marking the candles. No, let's get into cleansing the candles first. Yeah, I want to get into cleansing the candles. So, what do you do to cleanse your candles? And we're going to actually walk through the process for y'all. No matter what the candle is, you should, if it, we're going to start with the jar because it's the most labor intensive. So, you have to decide. You can either use sage, you can use Palo Santo, whichever one that you decide that you're going to smudge your candle with. Make sure that when you get your candle from the store, you take and you remove any stickers, labelings, anything that came from the store and the manufacturer that made this candle. The reason we are smudging this candle, the reason that we are, wiping the energy away from this candle is because we want to remove any energy that that particular person who made. All right, I'm back. I don't know what is going on with YouTube. I think all the social media platforms is going through something really, really crazy. Anyway, so let me go back. So we're smudging the candle. We're removing all the energy away from the candle. Anything that is creating a negative vibration and is not operating in the intention that we want to set for it. The next thing that I normally do is I Florida water my candle down. So I normally grab my Florida water. I wipe it, candle down, put all the Florida water on the outside only. Florida water my candle down. Make sure that I'm speaking positive energy, have a high vibrational music playing while you are doing these type of techniques so you can keep your energy and your frequency high. Okay. So after I have done my smudging, I've done my Florida water, me because I am extra. It's okay, beloved. My YouTube is experiencing some craziness. It's not letting me see any comments. I can't. It's been kicking me off several times, but we're gonna work through it. All right. So the other thing that I normally do is go back and I light my cinnamon, and I normally speak my intentions of whatever it is that I'm invoking and putting into this particular candle, and I smudge it. So you're doing the same dynamic on anything that you do, whether it's your spell candles, whether it's your tea lights, your votives, any candle for my pillar candles, any candle that you're working with, that's what you're gonna do. Okay. That's how we're gonna cleanse your candles. Now, I didn't think I need to say this, but I might need to make sure that anytime you are doing any type of candle work, you are doing any type of, making any type of product, any type of thing that is a spiritual dynamic, that you have done your own body, your own person, smudge yourself. Make sure that you are doing your spiritual baths before you get into your work. You are doing cleansing yourself, cleansing your environment, setting the tone not only for your body but for your environment before we get into the work of these candles and the power and the intentions that we want to set in there. Second thing that you should do outside of cleansing and cleaning those particular dynamics is charging your candles. So you can charging your candles. So you can charge your candles with crystals. So let's say that this particular candle was going to be over finances and abundance. I'm going to use my pyrite, or I can use my citrine, and I will make sure that it is sitting overnight with the crystals around it. So I normally will set my candle on my altar and I have the crystals around it or inside it. on top of it. Like if it was a tea light and I don't have anything in it, I would charge it like that. I do that all the time for my tea lights. Whatever you are trying to bring into your life, whatever, whether it's finances, abundance, or love, that is the dynamic that you want to make sure that you are speaking into that particular um, crystal. Okay. I mean, candle. That's one way to charge it. You can charge it under the full moon. I definitely recommend that if you take the time, do your stuff. I always do my candles a month ahead of time. So I charge them at the full moon. I do like a bulk amount. I do all my bath salts. I do all my um, candles. Any of my spiritual tools, I normally make sure that I take advantage of that full moon when it is time because I was born under the full moon. So that is my moon that I work with. Okay. Um, that was charging. Oh, and then setting the intentions. That's another way to charge it. So let's say I ain't got time to do all of that. Be like, I ain't got time, Tam. I ain't got time. All right. Well, then you're going to take this candle, and I talk about it all the time. Radiate from your heart space is the number one charger in your body for what it is that you're trying to manifest. So take whatever the energy is, think about it, visualize it, see it in your heart space, radiate that energy out of your heart space into the candle. Think about it, sit there, charge the candle with your own energy, with your own intention. Speak life into the candle. You can use words, you can use spells, you can use whatever it is that you want to incant or inset the intentions that you need for that particular candle. And then, like I said, I'm using this, but you have pillars, you have the tea lights, you have spell candles, whatever it is you want to do. Okay. Um, Dressing, anointing, and putting symbols um, on your candles. So we're gonna start with this one since this is my favorite right now. You can take either a marker, and I'm not gonna write on this one particular. I do suggest that you get a permanent marker in the color correspond if you are using a white candle or whatever color candle to write your sigil or your intention. If you don't want to get that complicated, like I can't think about no sigil right now, I just want to write it out. I normally put my sigil. So whatever my sigil is, I'll put it on the bottom of this because that's normally what I use in all my work. So creating your own personal sigil, I normally put it on there. If it is something specific, like I want to bring in love and abundance, then you're going to create a sigil for that. And then you put it on the bottom of your candle. Then you can also, if you're using marker, write it all over, put the words, what it is that you want on that particular candle. I'm not doing it on this one because this is one of my ritual candles. Um, in the top of your candle, you can draw the sigil in the top of the candle. Okay. Draw the sigil in the top of the candle. I also take that time to poke holes through my candle. And you can use like a skewer, toothpick, whatever, something that can kind of go all the way to the bottom. I normally take those and stick them all the way through. I normally do in threes, 1, 2, 3, because I do everything in three. You have to find the number that works for you. I personally like to work in Trinity. So 1, 2, 3. And if I am going to put herbs in there, like I said, steady, steady, steady. Figure out what herbs work for you. If it's certain healing aspects, I always use alfalfa. And I normally keep it in the jar, but I put it in this so y'all can see it. If you're using roses, I have like my rose petals that's in the jar. Um, and you only need a little bit. Sometimes y'all get so carried away with how much you need to put in the candle to dress it. It's not about that. You don't have to put a whole handful of herbs in your candle. Don't do that because it's going to catch on fire. You're going to get a bad result. You only need a little sprinkle of that intention. I'm just doing a pinch of what it is that I want. So if I was dressing this candle for love, then I'm going to put a pinch of what? Cinnamon, because that's my favorite herb. A pinch of roses and let's say a pinch of lavender. Okay. Um, 9 times out of 10, I would do roses, cinnamon, and then I actually will use lavender oil. So you can intermix what oils you want to do. If you want to do some oils, some herbs, if there's easier for you to find certain dynamics compared to others, then do that. But don't get stuck in feeling like you got to have about 15 different things. No, you don't. If you don't have anything, you really just need this, something to burn. You and since we're talking about candle magic, I won't go no further than that. But you really just need this. And since you just need this, you really just need to set the intentions of what it is that you want to see come manifest through this candle. And once you do that, you good, you golden. But since we are in the actual class, like I said, once you put your symbols on there, now we're going to take the time to put your little, your little herbs in the top. If it's this particular candle, you can do the same thing with your tea lights. Don't overdo it because they're small. You can do the same thing. Draw your, the name of the person. If you're trying to banish somebody or you're trying to protect somebody, you put your name or someone else's name. You will write whatever it is that you are scribing into the candle. I specifically use, and I didn't bring my actual one that I use, but I use feathers to inscribe whatever it is that I'm doing. So if I'm specifically working with like a black candle and I'm wanting to create protection, or if I'm wanting to banish, I'm going to use, the black feather to write whatever it is that I need. That's what I use as my scribing tool. Um, if it's something that I need, a white candle, I mean a white feather, a gold feather, red, I color coordinate in that aspect. So I do have certain feathers for certain things. Um, what else? So that was with the pillar. Now let's say we are doing, the 7 day. Let's say we are doing a pillar candle. You're gonna write whatever information on there. I always tend to put like I said, my own sigil on the bottom of the candle, um, and then mount it into the thing if that's all I'm doing. If not, if I'm actually putting oil, I do normally take the time. I have oils that I already be having pre-made. So if I was doing love, this is a rose oil. So I would take this particular oil, mix it with the cinnamon, or lavender, or whatever oils I would want. You only need a couple of drops. Do not OD them. Do not overdo it. You only need a couple of drops. So whatever I'm trying to bring in, let's say I'm trying to bring in love and abundance to me, I'm going to take the oil and I'm going to rub up towards me. I'm going to run up the candle towards who I am. I'm bringing this into me. If it's something that I want to release and I want to go away, then I'm going to rub it that way. So up, if I'm bringing it towards me, releasing, you're going to rub it outwards. Okay. So the other thing with this, if you are going to put any herbs, I do oil them down first and then I roll them in the herbs. I roll everything in the herbs. I roll them. And I don't like my candles to be heavily herb down. I don't like my candles to have too much of anything on them. I put the bare minimum. You have to be very mindful when you are overly oiling your candles, overly herbing your candles, because or overly dressing your candles, I should say, because then they're gonna burn different. And you don't need, that's not what they're for. It's to set the intention, it's to trigger, it's to be symbolic more so than anything. It's still about the power of what it is that you're doing. Once I have all of that done, we're going to pretend that I have whiskey or rum in this. And I would drink it, I would hold it out, and I would spray that particular candle. So I'm going to drink the whiskey or the rum. I'm going to hold it in my mouth and I'm going to spray over the candle. And then I would just rub it in. Make sure, and the whiskey and the rum thing, it doesn't, if you don't do alcohol, You can have some water that you've charged, some moon water that you've charged. You can have some sort of, it still need to be a substance that is not as why is everybody calling me now? Um, that is not as potent as whiskey and rum, but the spirits normally like that particular element. So that's what I suggest you use. You're not even drinking it; you're just holding it in your mouth. You're going to spray it, spit, spray all over the candle, whether it's this or this. If it is the smaller candles, I suggest that you just, not a lot. If it's a spell candle, if it is a tea light, I don't really suggest you doing it just because it's not enough room. If it is a tea light and it's a group of tea lights, you can kind of spray over it. Just make sure there's not a lot of alcohol sitting in your candle. Okay. Um, So once you wipe that all in, now we're ready to burn this particular candle. We're going to sit it into the candle holder, light it, and pay attention to your flame. I hear this so much. So many people be blowing out their flames. Don't do that. Allow your candles to finish burning. I don't care what size they are. If they're this size, or the tea light, let them candles burn. If you do not have time to finish letting them burn, because that's how the spells work. If you don't have time to let them burn, don't do it. Okay. One, do not blow your candles out. If for whatever reason that you need to make that flame go away, you need to buy a snuffer. If you don't want to buy a snuffer, another way that I normally do, I normally take my um, sage or my Palo Santo or whatever, and I will snuff the actual flame out. When you are blowing, it's a lot of heavy debate, but if you're blowing the candle out, 9 times out of 10, you are blowing away your blessing. It is not a good thing for you to blow. I have not, I just don't feel like that's a good thing for you to do, period. Take time, be very intentional. No matter what it is, be very intentional. It's not a lot of things that I'm dogmatic about, but that is definitely one of them. I snuff all my flames out. Okay, so I've done how to dress, how to anoint. We've done the meaning of the flames. We've done the meaning of the pillar of the candles. We've gotten into a little bit of herb. So let's go through the colors real quick. Let me look through my notes to see if it's any other thing that I haven't thought about. And if I can't tell who's in here and who's not. If y'all have questions and you catch this back on the replay, you can inbox me and I'll try to answer it as best as possible. Um, After that part. Mm-mm-mm. To me, if it is a stronger and more something that you definitely need more energy towards when you are doing these candle magic or these candle rituals, use your 7 day candle. It is way more potent. I mean, you can get the same effect if you're doing this, if you really are being very intentional. But my number one go to is going to be that. You just have to have the time and the patience to watch that candle, see what it's doing and how it is burning. Um, if you are on a budget, you can go to the dollar store and get your candles. Dollar store has plenty of candles. I do sell all the candles except for the 7 day on my website. I might have to restock on the pillars and the tea lights, but I normally have all the candles up there online. We talked about clearing, we talked about charging. Even when you're charging, like I said, you can use words of power, some sort of prayer or anointing with words, intention setting when it comes to that. Just trying to make sure I went. When you set your intentions in your candles, don't keep doing the same candle magic over and over again. Quit feeling like y'all got to keep doing the same. Like, did it work? Did it work? Did it work? Yes, let the magic do what it do. Let the universe do what it do. If it didn't work, it ain't meant for it to come into your life. period. Quit trying to force something that's not supposed to be in fluidity with who you are and what it is that you are trying to do. These candle spells or things that you're doing from a magical perspective should be from a light energy. Not all, I don't condone or approve doing dark magic or doing any type of um, energy that's towards somebody changing their own free will to, do something. You're trying to get somebody else to be in love with you. No. Um, Let me go over color real quick. Let me see if I got it in this phone. Let's go over color. We are right on time. It seems like we kind of staying. My house is so noisy. I don't know. Now they all of a sudden everybody got a life. Mm. Okay, so red, if you're doing red, red is for courage, it's for power, it's for strength, it's for passion, it's for sex, survival, immediate action. You normally, if you're doing something that is you're trying to bring that particular dynamic, one of those elements in, I would not get any candles that need to be over an hour. You typically only need a candle that is going to burn for an hour. I definitely am more, like I said, when I'm using that particular dynamic, something that's dealing with passion, I only use white anyway. But if I'm trying to bring that specific dynamic, even if it is on this type, I will get a red marker and I will write in red on this particular, all my symbols. Um, I will use cinnamon, I use roses, um, verveer, maybe vetiver is probably one of the ones that I would use herb wise. There's only a couple of herbs that's my go-to. Yeah, vetiver and cinnamon, and depending on what it is that I'm trying to specifically bring in, then for that person, then it might be another mystery herb or mystery oil that I might put in there for that particular person in case you want to bring in sweetness, in case you need to bring where that person is not speaking the way. So it might be lavender. You got to think about the how is it corresponding and resonating with what it is specifically that you need to do for that particular candle. So pink is for love, it's for friendship, it's for um having an open heart, calmness and emotions. I always say self-love. So I always operate in pink when I do that. I might surround that particular candle with rose quartz. A red candle, I might do carnelian or anything that is going to be from the root chakra. The pink candle, like I said, rose quartz, anything. Um, that's normally the only one. When I do pink, I go all the way in with the pink. And it's still, like I said, cinnamon is my go-to, and maybe roses. Um, Orange. So the color orange candle is going to be action, attraction, selling. So being a marketing person, being confident, getting the desired results. Um, the yellow candle is all about communication, selling yourself. Your high, you want to get more into your self-esteem. She's also a shun. um, Persuasion, attraction. Green is going to be love as well because it's that heart chakra, fertility, money, success, personal goals, health. It's also, like I said, the heart chakra. So if you're doing green, it might be, you putting stones that correspond to the heart chakra. It might be you putting oils and elements in your candle. Make sure everything corresponds. If I know that um I'm doing something that is more heart chakra based. Once again, y'all know that cinnamon is my go-to, but it might be cedar wood that you might want to put because you're trying to bring in um, healing and a rebirth or whatever. There are certain things and herbs and oils that they all correspond to what it is that color wise that you're trying to do. So pay attention. How are they corresponding? How do they correlate? Um, Blue is all about creativity, tranquility, peace, perception, making sure you're perceiving things. Your third eye is open. Your throat chakra is open. It's connected to your throat chakra as well. Um, Indigo, wisdom, self awareness, psychic abilities, and that's all in that same realm. Um, Violet, that might be about your power, your ambition, your tension, your spiritual development. So you might use maybe rosemary or lavender or amethyst stones when it comes to those particular dynamics. The black candle is all about protection, return or release of negative power, um, negative energy, and also it represents power as well. Okay. Um, Stability is for brown, so that's earth. The earth candle is always brown or green. So you're doing stability, grounding your earth rights, and to create indecision. So now let me go back over the hours. I'm sorry. So with that brown and typically the green, what other color? Yellow, all of those normally have to burn 3 hours plus. When you are talking about opening and getting the vibration and the energy right and what it is that you want to do for that particular, those dynamics that I listed for those colors. And like I said, I'll post all of this in the actual group. Those are things that they're going to take 3 to 4 hours. All my other ones are normally like 1 hours. Like, oh, blue, green, yellow, the brown, all of those are 3 to 4 hours. Everything else is like 1 or 2. Okay. The white, I do those all the time. It's universal. It can be used for anything. It's pretty much a general candle. So that's why I use them, because you can use them for anything. When all else fails and you are questioning what candle to use, get a white one. Okay. Gold is what I always talk about. The gold and the silver. Using the gold and the silver for prosperity, specifically attraction, wealth, um, long term. I use gold and silver for long term stability. When I am trying to bring something in from a long term dynamic, from a long term stability aspect, those are the ones and the colors that I use the most. Okay. No matter what it is, I'm going to burn gold or silver. All right. Um, let's see. So that was the colors. We kind of went through, like I said, the herb and the oils is really up to you. Y'all leave it to me. Y'all wouldn't have nothing but like rose, um, cinnamon, maybe sandalwood, patchouli, vetiver, um, vertiview, whatever you want to call it. Um, Trying to see if there's anything. It just depends. Like I keep my oils pretty limited, but I have rosemary, peppermint, patchouli, lemongrass, cinnamon, sandalwood, the vetiver. That's really like my go-tos. I use them in everything. Out of everything that I'm seeing, them the ones that I'm like it kind of covers me on everything. So you have to find what herbs call to you. Like I had a conversation with somebody and they were like, "Oh, no wonder I like ginger," because of how it resonates and corresponds to them. So if there's a herb or there's even something that you like that you take in your teas a lot, pay attention. What is that herb? Why do you like it so much? What is it triggering in you? What's the response? Why is it you responding to that? And then that's where you can start at. Well, why this is my favorite herb. I used to put cinnamon on everything before I even got in all of this. So that has always been my favorite. So that's my go-to when I get ready to do this work. I will, like I said, put a link where y'all can look and see where the herbs, what they mean from a magical aspect. I will put a link for the color chart so you can look at how colors correspond. If I can't get that, I might just have to type it out and put it in there. And then I'm going to post a few candle magic spells that you can use for different dynamics in what it is that you are doing, the type of work that you are doing, and how you can utilize this in the future. Okay. And I almost got everything done in an hour. Look at me. Okay. But I just kind of want to go over real quick. Like I said, you have several choices. We have this 7-day filler spell candles, which like I said, I do sell these online. You have your tea lights, and you have a votive. I don't have one of those. You have to figure out what is your thing. Find your thing. Find the thing that works best for you. Don't feel like you have to go into the trap of listening to what everybody else is doing, what everybody else is using. Use what is best for you, what works for you, what is easy for you to do. If you are doing candles like these, um, make sure you're still paying attention to how they are burning. Oh, there is one thing that I did forget. If you have candles like these, whether it's this, I like these being in the actual um, cases, or if it's this. Once you have engraved, heat it up, stick it on here, and it will stay. Not this one because I didn't do it, but it will stay. And you just watch it, let it burn. Once it's burned, all the wax lay the way it is supposed to. I will post a picture in the group or post a link to a picture because for some reason I can't figure out how to put the pictures up, where you can see what it means when the wax is laying a certain way, what it means when the flame is on. So I'm gonna put flame chart, wax chart, um, color chart, and herb and oil chart is what you'll get um, in this particular thing. Um, and I think that's it, beloveds. I think I got it all in an hour. I didn't think it was possible, but it must have been because YouTube is tripping. And I can't see anybody's stuff or anything. So hopefully y'all can see this and it actually worked and everybody was able to participate and get all the information. Like I said, if you have questions, you can put it in this particular group chat and I can try to answer it as best as possible. Um, or you can DM me and message me and I'll answer it as soon as I can. Okay, beloveds, I hope this was useful. I hope this is helpful as far as when you are working through. And I will talk to you later. Peace.